Yeah, I think one of the mistakes we make when we're talking about freedom, liberty, and justice for all is not acknowledging the sort of emotional challenge for people who've historically benefited from systems of oppression. And I'm very careful with that language. They didn't set them up. I didn't set up the system of male privilege, but I benefit from it. And so equality looks like oppression to me. And it looks like somebody trying to take something from me. So we've had this dynamic where we think of freedom as something that you take from oppressors and give to the oppressed. And that's the zero-sum mentality that Heather McGhee writes about beautifully in her book, The Sum of Us. Highly recommend that. Instead, we need to make a different kind of case, that the liberation that we seek isn't just for the downtrodden, it's for everybody. That inclusion is for everybody, that liberty and justice really has to be for all. And so we have to appeal to people's self-interest, and not just their individual, but their collective self-interest. And the idea that me being a bit more free also means you're a bit more free. We're both safer in that. In a business sense, there's literally more money to be made. And so if you think about a business that is very constricted about letting in others, they're also constricted about letting in other ideas, other revenue opportunities, other market segments, other customers. So if you can make the case to the historic beneficiary of oppression, that there's actually more to be gained from liberating not just others, but themselves from that mindset, I think we have a different shot. And it's less about rejection. There's a man named Bryn Smith who I met. He's a regenerative ocean farmer. He looks like a Trump voter. He acknowledges, I look like a Trump voter, but I'm not. And he's like, I'm sick of the language of no when it comes to climate. You can't use plastic, you can't use straws, you can't drive this. I want to say yes and offer people more money, healthier water, cleaner air, more opportunity for your kids, more jobs. So how do we pitch freedom as more and not just less? And how do we pitch freedom as something that's available to everyone, not something we're taking from one group and giving to another? The moral basis of people being created equal isn't a lived reality for most people. And the sense of loss, so I want us to do a lot of things at the same time. Some of them are contradictory. And I want us who claim to be fighting for freedom to acknowledge the emotional truth, if not the factual truth, but the emotional truth of those who feel beset upon, who feel attacked and targeted and assaulted. A truth we know very well because we've been beset and attacked and targeted. And so acknowledge that there is a sense of loss, but then shift our language to try to position it as something to be gained. Women won't get free if it's just women fighting for their freedom. We men have to step up and into that possibility and see our freedom in theirs as well. Otherwise, we will stop that from happening. Black folk, white folk, global south, global north, poor people, wealthy people. And there is sometimes real sacrifice required. I think companies really need to pay more taxes. I think those of us with more resources really need to contribute more to the common pot because we've drifted so individualistically over the past few decades. But I think the gain that we get from that, more peace of mind and of body, is well worth some of what feels like a sacrifice that's ultimately superficial.